Devin Austin, aka the Divine Miss D. And today we're going to be chatting with Frank Harris. Frank is a jazz musician, and you may have heard some of his music on my Jazz and Java show, which, by the way, airs Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 4 p.m. right here on Blaxit Radio. Anyway, I liked his music so much that I decided to ask him to be a guest on my show. So please welcome Frank Harris to the show.
Thank you very much for being here. It's wonderful, and I'm glad to be a participant in your wonderful thing that you got going on here.
Well, thank you. I'm really pleased to have you on the show, and I'm really excited to get to know a little bit more about you up close and personal, and also learn a little bit more about your musical career. So I have some questions here that I've already pre-prepared for us, and since we already know your name, now is your occupation actually musician, or do you have another daytime job that's other than that, or how does that work?
Well, actually, right now I'm retired.
Oh, you're retired?
Yeah, I was in public transportation for 30 years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I drove trucks and buses. I drove all over the country, Canada, and I toured many places. I had a good time doing that, actually. I met a whole lot of people,
right.
and just drove like I tell everybody, the best part about my job is that I can drive to go on vacation.
That's excellent. So have you ever been to Costa Rica, by the way?
No. With Canada.
Well, Canada. Yeah. Where in Canada were you?
All over.
All over.
Everywhere. Okay. Montreal, Quebec, Toronto, up in the mountains, where it was cold in the wintertime, freezing.
It is. By the way, where do you live?
Right now, I currently live in Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach. Okay.
Yeah, that's Virginia.
So sounds like you haven't lived there all your life.
I'm originally from Philadelphia.
From Philadelphia.
Born and raised, yeah.
Yeah. So
I had to get away from the cold.
Virginia Beach is getting away from the cold?
Yeah.
Not to me. So anyway, so you're in Virginia Beach, and so tell us a little bit about your family life and what life is like in Virginia Beach, married, kids. Told us a little bit about your occupation, but just tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm married. My wife's name is Wendy. We met 17 years ago, and we have, 3 adult children, the oldest being 46, and the youngest is 21. And we have mounds and mounds of grandchildren, mainly from my son.
How many is mounds and mounds? I have 1 grandchild and 2 great-grandchildren.
Let me see. Well, he has, maybe 5.
Do they all live near you in Virginia Beach?
No, they all, let me see. My son is living in New Jersey, down by Atlantic City. One of my daughters is in Georgia, and my other daughter is right in Virginia, right basically down the street.
Oh, well, that works out nice. Mm-hmm. So, I was interested for you. Now, is music something that you've just been interested all your life? I mean, when you were in school, you know how they have those music classes and band and all that kind of stuff. Were you involved in any of that, or is this something that you took up later in life, or just how did the music thing come about?
Well, in school, they just gave us all instruments, whatever they had, that's what they gave us. But I really didn't get involved in music until my father took me to Pittsburgh to visit family members. And my uncle lived next door to this young man. I can't remember his name. I don't know if he's somebody famous or all I know was that I met him in the late 60s, and we were sort of the same age. And my uncle said, come on over here, I want you to meet such and such. And I went down there and I seen the prettiest, most expensive drum set I've ever seen in my life. It was huge. And I was like, wow. And he played it. He was actually really good. And then he said he gave me the sticks, and I sat down there and was, making noise. And at that very moment this is what I want to do.
Ah.
Just like that. And I came back and said, Dad, I want some drums. And, he went to the pawn shop and bought me some drums.
Wow.
That's how it started. That's how it started.
Well, you don't just play drums on your music.
Actually, I produced the whole album. I use synthesizers.
Yeah, I see all that stuff over there in the background.
Yeah, right there. And what happened was, I played with several bands in Philadelphia. Growing up, the Philly sound. If you live in Philly, you had to play with everybody.
Right.
And I went into the military, and then I came out and I had my GI Bill, and I wanted, to use it. So I went to Quaker City School of Aeronautics and Penn State Technical College, and then I ended up going to Combs College of Music. And this was just something for me just to use up my money. So I had auditioned and got in. And, I called a few of my friends and they all got in and we started playing. And I was going in as a percussion major, but they taught me into education. So that means I had to learn everything, the piano, the drums, the violins, and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And I just took advantage of it. And I graduated there in 1981. So I just dated myself, but
that's okay.
Yeah, I went and did that, and I came back, and then I just kept on pursuing music, and I released my first CD in '91, but I never did anything with it. I just spent all the money and had it made, and it was sitting on the shelf. And so after I retired and we moved down here to Virginia Beach, I told my wife, I'm gonna release a new CD. And she's like, oh, okay. All right. And so I started working. And that's when Forever Love came around. That was my first CD. And that kind of stuck to my old tradition of being Mr. Smooth, Mr. Love Daddy with all the quiet songs. And then I went on and did that. And then this year, just passed, I released Many Faces, Portrait of Freedom, which was more, more up to date and jazzy. And currently I'm working on Evolution, which is something a little bit different. And that should be released probably May or June of 2022.
Oh, so now when you, so you said you play all these different instruments, you kind of have to be a one-man show, but do you actually have a group as well? Or when you do everything now, it's just mainly just you doing everything basically?
Yeah, for now it's just me. I have several groups, but everybody's time in the pandemic just kind of messed everything up. And so I just invested in more stuff, as we call it, plugins and stuff like that, and virtual instruments, and just started building my equipment and just taking my time and doing it.
Wow.
I'm a Virgo, so I'm very picky, and so it might take me a month to get an idea for the song, but once I get it, I'll go ahead and work on it. One of the songs on the new CD, I had the full-fledged idea, started recording it, went outside and stepped on the porch, and the song took a whole new dimension.
Oh, wow.
It just changed itself. I was like, okay, well, so everybody said that music is its own living organism, and it just took a life of its own, and I didn't fight it.
Well, do you primarily do jazz type songs, or do you cross over to other genres? Or
I was kind of focusing on jazz, but then I kind of like formed myself into like neo soul.
Oh, okay, neo soul.
Now, yeah, because I'm not strict jazz. I'm not traditional jazz. I'm not, hardcore jazz. Is smooth jazz. Um, close, just touching R&B.
Mm.
If I can get a couple of people together and put some vocals on there, then some of my tunes probably will cross over to R&B.
Mm-hmm. So the new project that you're working on, is that going to stick to your traditional kind of music, or are you crossing over into something else? You're going to try to do more neo soul, or or what with the new?
Well, evolution is the beginning of something new. So crossing over into electronic, more Latin jazz, real hardcore neo soul, maybe some EDM, just a tad, maybe.
Well, you'll have to keep me in the loop.
Definitely
when you release your new project. So what do you like most about music, about playing music?
Well, like I said earlier, music is the heart, the rhythm of our whole world. And it takes you places, it brings you out of, bad spots, bad moments. It can trigger great memories. And I just like when I get involved and get into what I'm doing, I'm just in a whole new world.
Yeah, I like music like that too. It's kind of the same thing for me. That's why I'm really happy to be in the radio business, because when we got to Costa Rica, they had a jazz station here, and it went off the air. Not that it was that great anyway, but all the smooth jazz stuff was gone anyway for the most part. The live smooth jazz stations. So I really missed it. So this opportunity came up for us, and that's why we jumped on it. And I love smooth jazz, so I put it right back on the air.
That's wonderful, because I remember I think it was right around 2001. I had the smooth jazz station on in Maryland. And one day I got off work and put the same station on. It was something else.
And it was gone. That's exactly what happened to us. At first, I thought something was wrong with my radio.
Yeah, exactly. I was changing stations.
Yeah. And then I came back and I was like, what the heck happened to my station? And it was just like, I don't even think they gave us a heads up. I had no idea.
I don't think it was a one. I think they just, I don't know, Clear Channel had
Clear Channel. Yeah. All of a sudden it was some kind of music that I was like, what? And then that was the end of that. And they wiped them all out, and they were just gone. I was like, boy, that's so another question I have for you is, have you ever collaborated on a song with like another musician that's maybe somebody like one of these hit jazz players or musicians or anything like that? Have you always mostly just done your own thing? And because you said you were in different bands before, so any that we might know of, or anybody that we might recognize?
Well, collaboration with somebody, kind of big. Not really. I had opportunities to play with many people. The last concert I did was up in New York, and that was with Tom Brown and No Honors. And then when I was growing up in Philly, everybody played with the Stylistics, Blue Magic, the Intruders. Right. That was just like, if you lived in Philly and was any good, that's what you played.
That's what you did. That's it. Well, who would be your ideal musician to collaborate with? If you can pick anybody.
Unfortunately, they both just recently passed. Would be George Duke and Chick Corea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's some real stuff going on there.
Yeah, I love them too. Matter of fact, Billy Cobham was my biggest inspiration on drums, and then from him, I just spread it out. And then once I heard about George Duke and Chick Corea and Stanley Clark and all those guys. There was nothing else in the world to listen to. You came to my house, if you ain't listened to them, then you had to go somewhere else. You know, occasionally I'll put some War and Earth and Fire on just because. But
right. Well, you know, then tell us a little bit about your creative process. Like, take us through the steps. Like, I know you said on this other one you were sitting there and then you went outside and everything changed. But basically, what's your process for creating? I don't really know that much about creating music at all. I just know what I like and I listen to on the radio, but I don't really know, like, from a musician standpoint, how they get to where they get to. And I don't understand at all how you get a whole string of songs together and end up releasing them all together on an album or a CD. Like, I don't know where the inspiration comes from for any of that stuff, but creatively, do you just say, I think I'm just going to put together a new CD, and then you just sit and figure out songs, or how does that work?
Well, actually, for me, now, many musicians do a little bit differently.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The first thing I do is I sit behind a piano and I'll just play some chords and just play around. And that process can take months. You know, for example, Forever Love, the title cut, it took a year to write that one song. And I had no idea it was going to be the title cut of the CD. So I'll just sit down and just play some chords. And then when I get bored of playing those same chords, then I'll start doing different inversions. And then by doing these inversions, I'll start hearing other things going on. And that's how the process begins for me. Oh. And so I'll sit there and play. I might, say, for example, I might pick out 6 chords, you know, and regardless of what key, you know, and I'll play those 6 chords, and I'll play those 6 chords for days, hours. Wow. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, I hear a drum beat, you know, and then I'll play with the drum beat and the chords, and then all of a sudden the song will take form. It'll take a structure, and then I'll record it, and then I'll sit down and listen to it. And my wife would tell you I listen to the same song 100 times. And then all of a sudden, and then once I get a structure, then everything else just basically just comes together. Oh. Except for the last song, when I had a structure and went outside and came back in the house.
Then changed the whole thing.
Somewhere else, yeah. It's just like I was going down Main Street, and all of a sudden the song wanted to take a left on Broad Street. And so I just went along with it.
Right. So how many songs do you have to have, like, to put together like a CD or something? Is there a certain number of songs, or a certain, like, a length of time that it has to be, or what?
Well,
you've got like 4 songs. Can you make a CD out of that?
Primarily, you have a 74-minute CD, right? You know,
how many minutes?
74 minutes.
74. Okay.
You know, and the minimum that somebody want to invest their money in is 45 minutes. Oh, okay. So you have 45 minutes. Now you can have a single. Yeah, single. You can have a single and an EP, which is just 4 songs, and then a full-fledged CD is anywhere between 10 and 15 songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I usually set all my songs around about 10 songs, average anywhere between 4 and 5 minutes a song. That'll give me 45 to 60 minutes. Wow. To fill up the CD.
Well, it seems like it would take a long time to make a CD then if it takes a year for a song.
Well, that's just an idea. That's not even a song. Because, for example, when I did Forever Love Again, it took a year to write the one song. Right. But I started January 2019, I started the song. And then September, I actually started writing the song. And then from September to February, I completed the whole rest of this album.
Wow.
Yeah, because I got the flow and everything came. And then of course you get those little dead moments, which says you can't put together two chords. And I'll sit there and tell everybody, man, what you write? You think? I said, man, I'm dead. I ain't got nothing.
So after you get these songs together, though, like I know things seem to have changed now, because in the old days, didn't you have to go out and like get signed by a record company or a label or something like that in order to produce songs? It seems like it's kind of like, to me, it seems a little bit like authors these days, where you can, do your own book. You can produce your own books nowadays, and you don't have to have somebody help you to get in, to get the book distributed or whatever. So are you with a particular company or something, or were you with a particular company when you were doing your songs before? And is it the same now, or did you take a different course, or how does that work?
Well, actually, when I first started trying to get my songs, played on the red radio, I used to put them on a cassette tape and walk down to the radio station and sit in there and talk to the general manager like I'm talking to you.
Right.
They'll put the tape in and they'll play it, and well, that kind of don't fit our programming, and then in the mid '90s, I got a job at Kiss FM. I was the audio technician, and so I ran the board and everything. So at nighttime, when it was my time to go on, I would bring my own music and play.
Wow,
That's what I did.
That's a way to do it.
Yeah, but as far as having a publishing company or label to sign, that was how things used to be.
Right.
And you know how tight that feel is. If you don't know anybody to get your song to somebody so they can hear it, so you can get signed, it's not really going to happen. Right. That's why everybody came out with the independence labels. And so what I did, that's when I created the Cljhmusic Company, which is named after my son, Christopher Lee John Harris. He passed when he was 5 years old.
Oh,
and I took his inspiration and made that company, and later on added Magic Shot Productions to it. And then what I started doing was just helping my friends and learning how to actually go through the actual process of making a professional sounding recording, because anybody can put a song together, but to make it sound good is a whole nother process.
Right.
And with the way things are changing with streaming versus CDs, versus live play, it's a whole different process. And so now you don't really have to get signed by a label. I went to the Hampton Jazz Fest. My wife and I went backstage and met everybody who was performing, and left all my stuff in the car. And CDs, business cards, USB stuff with it, all information just to give everybody, and left it in the car. And we had to park so far away, and I didn't feel like going to get it. So I just talked to everybody, took pictures and signed, got autographs and did the regular, person thing. But I had a great opportunity to get my stuff out there. And I just forgot it.
Right. Well, speaking of your family, are any of your children musically inclined, or any of them in the business? Have you worked with any of them, or are you just kind of solo in the family?
Both. My son and daughter, they both play instruments, or try to play instruments. And my son's oldest son is actually producing his own music. So it kind of skipped him and went to him. Right. right? And he has stuff out on SoundCloud and YouTube and stuff like that, and my grandchild, we just got her a set of drums for Christmas, right? Yeah,
and parents love that. You'd be real popular,
right? And we was fortunate just to have a new grandchild, Tristan, and he's only 6 months old, and I already bought him a piano.
Oh Lord. You gotta make sure you keep some music in the family passed down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So that's how we're gonna make that happen.
Okay. Well, you know what we can do now is let's move to talking about the 3 songs that I have on Jazz and Java here on Blaxit Radio.
Okay.
And let's talk about spend a little bit of time talking about your process and your inspiration that went with each one of those songs. So let's take them one at a time. And you can just take me through the whole history of beginning to end for those songs. And I'll let you name the song and then you can talk about it, tell me about it or whatever. We'll go through those 3 songs. Okay. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, we can start with Mesmerize.
Okay, let's do
it. Now, Mesmerize, believe it or not, I wrote that song in the 90s.
You kept it around all the way from the 90s?
Well, it wasn't called Mesmerize. It was called something. It was called something else, and it was based on girlfriend that I kind of had back then.
I see why you had to change it around a little bit.
Yeah, and it had words and everything to it, and we kind of broke up, and the actual name of the song was "How Can I Love Someone New."
Oh,
that was actually the name of the song. I actually have I was hunting through my tapes, and I actually found a recording of it with me actually singing it.
Really? Wow. Now that's interesting.
Yeah. And so I had needed a filler for the last album. So I just went on and just, kind of, freshened it up, and took the vocals out and replaced it with the saxophone.
Which I love. That's my favorite instrument. That's what got me.
Yeah. And so it was like, wow, and then I kept playing it, and I know it needed this and it needed something else, and so I just kind of put it in my jar and just shook it up and poured it out, and that's how it came out.
Wow, that's great. So you had it in the 90s, you brought it back, and you just kind of put a different spin on it, and then put it out. And like when people are, okay, so we know kind of like what the background, because that was like the whole breakup. So that's kind of like a love story song, jazz song.
Yeah. You can say it like that, yeah. and then I got the name Mesmerize because my mother-in-law, she sells Avon, and she gave me some cologne for Christmas. And I was sitting there trying to think of a name, and I had the bottle sitting right here on the table. I said, "Oh, I'll name it Mesmerize."
Well, that's a great story. So now we'll listen to the song Mesmerize. Okay, so what's the next song?
Well, the second one you want, what was it? Color of My Dreams?
Color of My Dreams, right.
Yeah. Well, Color of My Dreams was, to tell you the truth, I really don't know how I came up with that idea. I was just sitting behind the piano and just started playing a couple chords.
So did you just play the chords and then all of a sudden a whole song came out all at once and you were done? Or did it take you a while after that?
About 2 weeks later, because I wanted to put a spin on it. And I wanted I wanted, fully orchestrated and big and and some little stuff going on, which is the string plucks in that particular song. My wife called it bunny hops. And every time I talk to some musicians, man, they're not bunny hops, they pluck strings. Well, you tell my wife that that's what she calls them. Yeah. And that's how that came. I was just, I was just feeling kind of nostalgic and just wanted, just a little something different.
Where were you when you did that song? Was that in Virginia Beach or was that someplace else?
Sitting right here in front of this.
Sitting right here. And when was that?
This one came around probably this time in 20. Right around this time. Yeah.
In 2020?
Yeah.
So you had a lot of time because COVID was going around. You couldn't go anywhere anyway.
Well, our town is so, so open and stuff. I ain't bothering me. I just walk out to the beach.
They let you out on the beach there because here in Costa Rica they have curfews on the beach.
Well, they have curfews too, but I could just walk right out and walk through the woods, be on the beach.
Oh, so the beach. So you're really close to the beach then.
Oh yeah. Coast, yeah.
Wonderful. So where did the name come from?
Where did the name come from? Actually, it was called Inside My Dreams. And that sounded too.
I don't know. That's not a bad name, but Color My Dreams is good too. But Inside My Dreams is not a bad.
Yeah, and actually, I have two copies of it. One called Inside and one called Color. And I just asked my wife to pick a name, and she picked that name.
She picked Color.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so now we will listen to Color of My Dreams. And what's the third song? The third song. Oh, that's the one that's named after your wife, right?
Yeah.
Your wife's name. So tell me about that. Must be something. Tell me about that.
Well,
first tell us the name of it.
Well, this is called Ydnew, which is Wendy spelled backwards. We were our granddaughter came over and she started calling everybody their name backwards. And so they started with me, and they was calling me Narf. Right? So I was like, so I said, Wendy, I'm gonna call her Ydnew. And then all of a sudden I was like, and I was playing this song, and it just felt perfect.
Wow. Yeah, that's a nice song. All three of those songs are really nice.
Wonderful.
Great,
yeah,
great.
That's good.
So now in closing, do you have any parting comments or thoughts or anything like, or any advice for maybe people who might want to get into the music business or just in general in life? You said you're retired. So obviously you have some life behind you. You have a marriage, kids, grandkids, whatever. Like, what parting words would you like to impart to the Blaxit Radio family about life, music, advice, whatever?
Well, the first thing I like to say is just don't give up on your dreams. I remember saying growing up, I told myself, if I'm not famous or by 50, I'm not going to play music no more. Well, 50 came and passed, and I'm still playing music. Right. And, I mean, it's such a tough time going on in the world today, and so many people have their own worldview of what is going on in life, and I always look at the positive aspect of life. I don't look at too much of the news and the drama because it's so depressing. Yes, and I always look at life as my cup half full, not half empty, because there's always a brighter side around the corner. A lot of us have our own Christian views and stuff like that. And personally, I believe in God. And at the same time, there's always something wonderful that's going on. And the main thing, like I always tell my son, is if you plan on doing anything, just be aware of the consequences of your decision. you know, that's it. And just
that's great advice.
Yeah, and just like I said, just don't give up. Music alone by itself is hard enough.
Right. Keep on pushing, right?
Yeah, and there's always somebody better than you.
Right.
So
you just gotta stick to it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Matter of fact, not with music, with everything you do in life. Matter of fact, tomorrow, at 64, I just finished Regent University with a master's degree in business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And as tomorrow, it'll be all over.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a feat. That's wonderful. And that's another not giving up and just sticking to it. And the other thing about, because we're never really too old. Did I was like, you're as old as you feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
well, sometime when you wake up in the morning time.
I know. Well, then you're old. After you can shake it off and get
after you shake it off, right? Yeah. Exactly right.
So anyway, I really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing all this information with us and telling us a little bit about your life and your journey through your musical. And when you get done with your new project, send me the information. We can get some of that on Blaxit Radio as well. And other than that, I guess I just tell you to have a wonderful day. And thank you so much for being with us.
And I want to thank you. You really had made my day in this wonderful opportunity. And I wish you and your family and all the listeners, by the time Christmas will be over. But, just have a safe journey. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Well, you're welcome.